ジャパンラグビー TV、 そしてリーグワン公式 YouTube をご覧の皆さん、こんにちは。大西将太郎です。今回はジャパンラグビー TV の特別企画として日本代表のエディ・ジョーンズヘッドコーチと一緒に2023-24シーズンのリーグワンについていろいろとお話を伺っていきたいと思います。今回は私、大西将太郎がモデレーターとして質問させていただきます。エディヘッドコーチ、よろしくお願いします。
はい、よろしくお願いします。
早速ですが、今日のテーマはシーズン真っ最中のジャパンラグビーリーグワンについてです。代表監督就任以降、すでに各国の試合をご覧になったり、各カテゴリーの試合を見ていると思いますが、とりわけ日本代表の強化においてはリーグワンがとても大事になってくるかと思います。少し大きな質問になってしまいますが、エディさん、リーグワンとは日本ラグビーにとってどういったものでしょうか。
Well, the level of League One or the level of the domestic league has risen considerably. Yeah, that's evident by the player, particularly the top 6 or 7 teams, and I think that's been really impressive. And I think, yeah, the number of outstanding international players playing in Japan at the moment is giving great role models for the Japanese players to follow.
エディさん、そういうことをおっしゃってくれると思ったので、実際のリーグワンのプレーを見ながらお話を伺いたいと思います。まず最初はディビジョン1の第7節、埼玉パナソニックワイルドナイツ対東京サントリーサンゴリアスの試合のシーンからです。
ここは蹴ってきた。これもタッチだ。またコルビ。
ありがとうございます。
内側に返した。左足のキック。追っていく。北にスポーツ。
エディさん、まずはカウンターアタックで高本選手、これから将来を有望視されている選手であったり、あとは中村亮土選手であったり、そういうヤングプレーヤーとベテランのミックスで生まれたトライだと思うんですが、このトライについてはエディさん、どう思われますか。
Oh, I think the play itself's very good. But I think your comments about the importance of senior players being role models for junior players is so important. You did it yourself at the end of your career. You helped bring young players through, and Nakamura and Nagare are particularly good role models for Takamoto, who they saw the opportunity, took it, showed good initiative, and then the rest of the play to keep the ball moving and not let the defence settle was outstanding.
サンゴリアスのアタックっていうのは、やはりエディさんもサンゴリアスにヘッドコーチされてたと思うんですけど、日本代表につながる部分というのはここのアタックでもありますか。
Yeah, 100%. You probably get 40% of your ball off kick return, so the ability of you to find space in that kick chase line, and then make sure that you keep the ball moving, keep the ball alive, which is the fashionable way of saying KBA now. Keep the ball alive. But you see there, Suntory, just don't let the defence settle there. Top Nagare goes, finds a runner, another short pass. And the other thing about that, there was probably only one long pass in that period of play. It was all short passes, support coming from speed. Their interchange pass to the loose forward, and the ball's just moving really quickly, and it's so hard to defend.
そうですね。リーグの中でも屈指のディフェンス力を誇るワイルドナイツに対してこれだけのアタックっていうのはすごくインターナショナルレベルでもイメージできるトライだったんじゃないかなと思います。今度はワイルドナイツのプレーになります。
世界のこのまたはなかった2本連続相手に奪われます。ここはサンゴリアス誤算でしょうね。チャンスだ。調子がデアレンでこの左右の細かい動きは力切れ込んだ。長田左に2人ついている。右にもいる。フォーマンもいる。ここに離す。小山に渡った。チェズリンコに足を取られた小山。押し返す黄色いジャージ。まだキープできてま ウィリアム・ヘイを外して内側で野口が抑えました。やっぱり取り切った18点。
はい、ワイルドナイツの、強みといいますか、そのターンオーバーというかアンストラクチャーからのトライで、僕は一つ質問したかったのはエディさんのこの堀江選手のここスクラムハーフとしての役割をしたこと、ちょっとスクラムハーフが遅くなるっていう判断と、この判断こそがエディさんがおっしゃるその超速ラグビーの一つの判断の基準かなというところ、目の前で何が起こっているのか、そういったところを判断してパストボールするのか、それともステイするのか、スクラムハーフの役割、それでトライが生まれたんじゃないかなと思うんですが、エディさんどう思いますか？
That's a great example. Exactly what we're looking for. That's Sakura rugby. If he stays and just protects that ball, the Suntory defence regroups on the left-hand side, and probably there's not a try.
先ほどのサンゴリアスのトライもこのワイルドナイツのトライも、やはりインプレーが始まるともうみんな背番号があんまり関係ない、ポジションがあんまり関係ないっていうのがすごく、こういうラグビーが、超速ラグビーっていう一つのモデルなのかなっていうところですね。
Yeah, you've got the structured part of the game that starts from a set piece, but then as soon as you make a break, you're 100% right. Every player's got to be in a position where they can be effective to keeping the ball moving. And defensively is the opposite. They've got to be in a position to stop the ball moving, which, probably the defence could have done a little bit better here. But certainly in terms of the attack, that's the sort of play we want to see.
はい。次は、同じく第7節の東芝ブレイブルバス東京対横浜キヤノンイーグルスの試合から、ちょっとこの試合を僕がチョイスさせていただきました。このシーンを挙げさせていただいたのは、エディさん、やはりワールドカップなどを見ていてもディフェンス力っていうのはかなり重要だと思います。日本代表、今後どういったディフェンスをしていくのかっていうのも一つ聞きたいなっていうところ。
Well, there's some really good examples here how square Sheba are. You can see all their shoulders are up and down the field. They're getting off the line together. Every time there's a tackle, there's two in the tackle. And they're making Cannon fight for every possession. Look at the 19 there, back on his feet, needs to get up again quickly. They're back on their feet and they're putting pressure on, which then forces Cannon to make quite a risky play, a long pass in between defenders, which results in a try.
この点数差と時間帯っていうところもあってってことですよね。
Yeah, fantastic. Like that's what you want to see for your team. When there's only a little bit on the clock, but they're defending it like it's the first minute of the game, and they've lost their captain there, Leach is off the field. So, they've lost a bit of leadership, but look, they're racing into the contact, they're on their feet, they're talking to each other, they're looking for an opportunity to defend. It's really, really good to see.
はい、今シーズンこれらの試合だけでなく、本当に見応えのある試合が多いと思われますが、その中で日本人の成長もそうなんですが、海外からワールドカップの後、超一流の選手たちが集まりました。その実力を発揮してくれていることも大きな要因だと思いますが、日本ラグビーにとってその影響というのはどう考えておられますか？
Yeah, really great influence, really great influence. And the thing that struck me, particularly for the All Black players, and not to say it hasn't been for the Springbok players, but particularly the All Black players, they play every game like it's a test match. Yeah, it really has changed the league, and that this level of rugby, people around the world want to watch it now.
やっぱりそのゲームのプレーだけではなくて、普段からのアティチュードっていうところですか？
Attitude, 100% attitude in the game, attitude at training. you know, they're really positive role models. Really positive role. Couldn't have better in Japan at the moment.
じゃあまずはリチモンガ選手のプレーを見てみたいなと思います。はい、エディさん、もちろん、オーストラリア代表監督時代とかリッチモンガーと対戦もされてると思いますが、どうですか、彼は。
Well, yeah, he's still a young player. You know, he's 29, 30. He could have played probably another 50 tests for the All Blacks, but he's made a decision to play in Japan. And his attitude to the games, again, is first class. And then you see those examples of his play where, you know, he's not trying to overplay his game, but when the opportunity comes, he takes it. He's not a big guy. He's a small little guy, fast feet, bounces everywhere. You know, so why can't our Japanese tens be like that? And that's going to be the challenge for him.
そうですね。そしてチームを勝たせるスタンドオフじゃないかなと僕は思ってるんですが。
Yeah, he's a match winner, absolute match winner. And he puts himself in the position to do it all the time. Like even that example again, you know, he's got the courage to do the kick, puts it in the space, and then the winger finishes it off. But you've got to have courage to do that, and courage comes through really good, strong practice. Like you're confident doing things when you've had success. You know, and I've had the luxury of watching him train at Toshiba, and he trains exactly the same way. Same intent, same purpose. You know, he wants to be the best he can be, and that's what he does every game.
日本の若い選手たちもリッチー・モンガ選手のプレーをよく見て学べることっていうのはたくさんあると思います。
100%. And one of the big things is that ability to do a skillful kick like that doesn't come from anything but practice. Just practicing the right thing, and then you've got the confidence and the courage to do that in the game.
はい、それでは次はチェズリン・コルビー選手のプレーを見てみたいなと思います。はい、エディさん、この一番最初のプレーはコルビの象徴するプレーだと思うんですけど、最後まで諦めない、ワールドカップの時のチャージダウンもそうですけど、このプレーについてどう思われますか？
That's what all the good players, really good players do. You know, they expect to get something from effort. He doesn't need to chase that kick that hard because it's probably going to touch, but he does just in case, and he gets rewarded, and his team gets rewarded. Yeah, he's a tiny little guy, he's 76 Ks. You know, he could be working at Future Races as a jockey. But he plays so hard, he's got great body movement.
この中に入っても日本人の選手よりも体が小さく見えますけど、やっぱり日本人にもできるってことですよね。
Yeah, 100%. There's no reason why they can't. And you're right, he's smaller than most Japanese players. So if a player has the intent and desire to want to be as good as Chesson, they can be. Nothing's stopping them.
はい。そしたら次はもう一人、こちらも南アフリカスプリングボックスクワカ・スミス選手。ちょっと今怪我で離脱してますが。
家村チェイス外した。松永寛太から内サポートリー通信から山中のその向こう側、山下楽平からスピンして前向く。素晴らしいですね、神戸。
しかし静岡福岡
これターンオーバー7番でした。
エリさん、クワカ・スミス選手はやはりディフェンスの部分、ジャッカル、そういったところだと思うんですけど、コメントありますか？
He probably reminds me a lot of George Smith. You know, not a great athlete, not big, not particularly strong, but it's got an incredible ability to find the space in the breakdown.
ジョージと違うところはヘアスタイルぐらいですか。まあここまでリッチ・モンガ選手であったりチェスリン・コルビ選手、そしてクワカ・スミス選手、この辺りをこう映像で見ていただいたのは、エディさんがよくこの3人を挙げられて、日本人のモデルになれる選手たち、勉強できる選手たちっていうところをおっしゃってたので、この3人を挙げてみたんですが、改めてこの3人たちから学ぶことってどういうことを
Yeah, well, I think all three are an example of that size. Obviously, size in rugby is important, but every player can find a way to be effective. And these three players are small players, but they've found a way to be more than effective. They've found to be close to being the best in their position in the world. And that's the opportunity for every Japanese player. You know, we don't want to hear the excuse we're too small. We want to be using our size to advantage and players finding a way to be effective.
日本の選手たちにもそういったところをアドバンテージにできる、強みにできるっていうところになってほしいと。
100%. Make it your strength. Make it your strength. Like that's the thing. Make it your strength, and then be really purposeful about how you practice that. Practice it at training. Know what you're going to be good at, and make it a strength. Like a lot of time, I speak to a Japanese player. I say, you know, what's the strength of your game? And they'll say, oh, but I'm not very good at this. I'm not very good at that. Be confident about your strength. Make that into something that's a winning part of your game. And that's what we've got to encourage the Japanese players to do, because, yeah, we've seen the Japanese players in these League One games compete fantastically well against the best in the world. And, you know, and ultimately we want to be one of the best teams in the world. So when we do this again, say we do this in a year's time, we want to be looking at 3 Japanese players doing the same thing. That's the target.
そこは日本でもそのリーグとして世界一になれるリーグポテンシャルはあると思いますか？
I think it's a great potential. We have great potential to be the number one competition in the world. And I think, you know, the unusual part of Japanese rugby is that, yeah, many of the companies, many of the teams are sponsored by, you know, fantastic companies, which gives them stability, which is very important in any professional sport. And I think the way now that the teams are evolving into more community teams, still company-based, but trying to become part of the community. And we've seen it with the fans. Like the fans enjoy it, the teams are promoting their games. They're coming to the games, they're enjoying the games. So it's a really nice balance at the moment between the corporate support and that community focus of the teams.
はい。本当にいろいろと質問させていただきましたが、エリーさん、今日はたくさん質問ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
答えていただいて。さて、ここからは日本代表を応援する JRFU 公式ファンクラブジャパンラグビーSakuraクラブ会員の皆様から寄せられた質問に答えていただきたいと思います。日本のラグビーのファンの皆様からは前回に引き続き100件以上もご質問を受けたということなので、その中からの質問になります。エリさん、よろしくお願いします。
はい。
ペンネーム梅吉さんから、対戦相手としての日本代表に対する印象、対戦後の印象、その時感じた代表に関する改善点などありましたら教えてください。
That's a difficult question first up.
Yeah.
I hope they don't get harder than this. Well, I think, yeah, Japan's been through a fantastic period. You know, if you look at 2019, make the top 8. 2023, Japan, you know, results wouldn't have been as they liked, but they were still a team admired around the world. But what we want to do, we've got to remodel the team again now, you know, because the team was getting older, so we've got to bring some new players in. We want a freshness and a vitality to the team. We want to go back to playing really Japanese rugby, Chosoku rugby, and that's going to be a challenge. But we want the fans to be part of that challenge going forward. and we want Japan to finish in the top 4 in the world. So that's our target. So the fans are all part of it, the sponsors are part of it, and it's a great opportunity for Japanese rugby now.
その日本のラグビーの基準をやはり上げていただいたのはエディさんがヘッドコーチされてた2015年、今度はエディさんがその引き上げた、高い壁っていうところをまた自分で超えていくということです。
Well, I think it was only partly built in 2015. We got the players to believe in their ability, and then they went forward and did even better in 2019. But when we watch the videos of Cheslin Colby, Richie Mwanga, Quagga Smith, I would say there's not one player in Japan that's realised their optimum potential. And that's the challenge. Can we get players to really move towards their absolute best? When is the last player in Japan being rated world class? And that's what we want to start producing, world class players.
次が最後の質問です。真央さんから質問です。若手選手育成の話が多く取り上げられますが、ベテラン選手の登用についてはどう考え、どうチーム作りを考えていらっしゃいますか
？Again, a good question for Mao-san. Like that's a really important of the team, and it's finding the senior players that still want to train hard and work hard and be good role models. And certainly, from the little bit I've had with the team at a 2-day camp in Fukuoka, someone like Leach was a perfect example of that. Trained harder than any player, stayed behind at the end of the training, did video work with young Chuka, the young lock from Kyoto Senkyo, and just became a mentor to him within a day. And they're the sort of senior players we want. So Mao-san's right, they're really important, but they've got to be the right players.
そこをエリさんが選びながらバランスをと思って。
そうそう。
じゃあ中華はマロイトジェぐらいになれますか
？Well, he's got the potential. He's got a lot of work to do. His body's very underdeveloped at the moment, but he's definitely got the frame. He moves well for a big guy, and he seems like he's got a good attitude. So there's no reason why he couldn't be better than Maro Itoje.
高校ラグビーで中華が活躍している時に僕は彼はマロイトジェみたいになれますねっていうコメントを解説でしたので、もしそれぐらいの選手になったらエディさん、僕が評価上がるんでまたお願いします。
That's not a bad comment. But there's, and there is some good young players like Chuka. There's a young flanker, Fukuda, I think going to Takeo. So those young players are coming through. So what we've got to do as coaches is work really hard to develop them.
そういった選手たちの発掘っていうところもリーグワンの発展とともにエディさんは行ってくれてるというところで、本当にありがたいっていうところなんですが、エディさんありがとうございました。ジャパンラグビー桜クラブでは現在もエディヘッドコーチへの質問を募集しております。あなたからの質問にエディさんが答えてくれるかもしれません。ぜひ入会をご検討ください。よろしくお願いします。エディさん今日はありがとうございました。繰り返しにはなりますが、今シーズンのリーグワンは実力が拮抗しており、面白い試合が多いので、ジャパンラグビー TV をご覧の皆様、ぜひスタジアムで見ていただいて、そしてもしスタジアムに来れない時にはテレビやオンデマンドなどでリーグワンの試合をお楽しみいただけたらなと思っています。エディさんもまだまだスタジアムにたくさん試合見られますよね。
Although I might stay home and listen to your commentary from now on.
ミュートでお願いします。エリさん、今日は本当にありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。はい、どうもありがとう。
ありがとうございます。